Welcome to Fantasy Alpha's Week 5 thoughts. Here are the players we're optimistic on. Patriots at Redskins, Sunday 1 p.m. Sony Michel getting 18-plus carries as the Patriots control the clock with ease in this one. With Washington's messy quarterback situation, the game flow favors the Patriots getting a big lead early on and leading on their ground game. Michel will have some really good goal line looks in this one. Cardinals at Bengals 1 p.m. on Sunday. Running back David Johnson continuing the trend of running backs besting Cincy. Week 1, Carson scored 2 touchdowns against the Bengals. Week 2, Jeff Wilson scored 2 touchdowns against the Bengals. Week 3, Frank Gore scored a touchdown against the Bengals. And last week, Jalen Samuels and James Conner both scored touchdowns against the Bengals. Johnson has been more effective as a pass catcher this year than a runner, but he has scored 3 touchdowns this year so far, and he should find the end zone against the Bengals. Jets at Eagles, Sunday 1 p.m. Alshon Jeffrey up against the soft Jets cornerbacks. Alshon Jeffrey has 3 touchdowns in 3 games played this year, and the Jets secondary has given up a TD to a wide receiver in every game they've played. 4 touchdowns to wide receivers this year they've given up. And Alshon is a matchup nightmare for these Jets cornerbacks, so look for him to outplay these cornerbacks and probably find the end zone. Falcons at Texans, Sunday 1 p.m. Wide receiver Will Fuller to find the deep ball against the weak safeties of the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons secondary lost their best safety 2 weeks ago, Keanu Neal, and last week they gave up a 55-yard touchdown to rookie A.J. Brown. With Stills ailing, we like Fuller to step up and see some deep ball success. Another wide receiver we like in this game, Falcons at Texans Sunday at 1 p.m., is Calvin Ridley to get back on track in a high-scoring affair. Texans gave up 300-yard passing games to Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers. Ridley started off the year hot, but he's been outperformed by Sanu the past 2 weeks. But in this must-win matchup, we think Ridley steps up and Ryan looks his way often down the field. Bills at Titans, Sunday 1 p.m. The Titans D to contain the Bills' offense. The Titans D is going to play either banged-up Josh Allen or the backup Matt Barkley. And the Titans have been a solid fantasy defense thus far, forcing 6 turnovers in 4 games, and Buffalo has turned the ball over 10 times in 4 games. So we think the Titans defense is definitely going to lock down the entire Buffalo Bills offense this week and force some turnovers. Bears at Raiders, Sunday 1 p.m. in London. Allen Robinson targeted often versus the Raiders. The Raiders give up the 27th most passing yards in the NFL, and Robinson is averaging over 8 targets a game, and he's still looking for his first TD of the season. Last week, he showed really good rapport with Chase Daniel, who will be starting in this one, and that should continue here in London against Oakland. And some other deep sleepers we're optimistic on this week. Wide receiver Randall Cobb against his former team, the Green Bay Packers, in what could be a high-scoring game. Running back Naheem Hines' numbers should get called a decent amount as the Colts will look to match the high-paced offense of the Chiefs, especially with Marlon Mack ailing. Tight end Tyler Eifert versus the Arizona Cardinals defense that has given up a touchdown to a tight end in every single game this year. Eifert has 1 touchdown on the season and dropped a touchdown last week versus the Steelers, so he gets good red zone looks. And finally, tight end Jared Cook facing his best matchup yet as the Bucs have given up the 2nd most points to tight ends pretty consistently throughout the year. Cook has his best matchup yet, and Bridgewater should finally lean on him. And those are the players we're optimistic on.
And here are the players we're skeptical on this week. Vikings at Giants, Sunday 1 p.m. Running back Wayne Gallman with low yards per carry and catch against a tough Vikings run defense. Gallman's volume will be way up in this one, but the Vikings have only allowed a rushing touchdown to Aaron Jones this season. Bills at Titans, Sunday 1 p.m. Running back Frank Gore versus the stout Titans rush defense. The Titans have stymied Nick Chubb, Marlon Mack, Leonard Fournette, and Devontae Freeman this year, held all 4 of those running backs out of the end zone. Now, Gore excelled last week in a tough matchup against the Patriots with 100 yards and a rushing touchdown, but the Titans rush defense is a whole different story, and we don't think Gore will find much success in this game. And as good as the Titans' rush defense is, the Bills' pass defense is even better. They've only allowed 196 pass yards per game, and they kept Tom Brady out of the end zone last week. We don't think A.J. Brown will even come close to his Week 4 performance. I'd be wary of Mariota in this one as well. Bears at Raiders, Sunday 1 p.m. in London. Running back Josh Jacobs versus the Bears' 2nd-ranked rush defense. The Bears have only allowed 1 rushing touchdown this year, and that was to Dalvin Cook last week on a 1-yard plunge. We don't think Josh Jacobs will find much room against the Bears' defense running the ball this week. Panthers at Jaguars, Sunday 1 p.m. Quarterback Gardner Minshew versus a defense that's given up only 4 pass touchdowns in 4 games. The Carolina Panthers pass defense held Deshaun Watson to 0 pass touchdowns, Jared Goff to 1 pass touchdown, and Jameis Winston to only 1 pass touchdown. Minshew has been good this season, but he's facing a tough task this week. The Patriots at Redskins, Sunday 1 p.m. Avoid all Redskins. Their quarterback situation is in flux, and with McLaurin and Vernon Davis ailing, there aren't many threats on offense right now. Adrian Peterson is averaging less than 3 yards per carry, and Chris Thompson's getting a lot of garbage yards late in games. You can't really trust him either. And the Buccaneers at Saints, Sunday 1 p.m. Running back Ronald Jones versus the hot Saints run defense. Last week, the Saints held Ezekiel Elliott to 2 yards per carry, and the week before that, they held Chris Carson to 3.5 yards per carry. We don't think Jones will find much success against this hot Saints run defense in New Orleans. And here are some other players we're skeptical on. Quarterback Daniel Jones is inexperienced versus a tough pass rush of the Minnesota Vikings. Quarterback Derek Carr versus a tough Bears defense with Tyrell Williams ailing. Quarterback Kyle Allen, who lost 3 fumbles last week versus the Texans pass rush, he now goes to Jacksonville to face Calais Campbell in the Jaguars pass rush. And finally, tight end Ricky Seals-Jones versus the 49ers on Monday night. Last week, Seals-Jones had 3 for 83 and a touchdown. He had a 59-yard gain against the Ravens defense as well. The 49ers defense, much better against tight ends, much better against the pass. We don't think Seals-Jones finds much room in this one. And those are the players we're skeptical on.
And join us for Fantasy Alpha Live, Sunday, October 6th at 11:30 a.m. on Instagram Live at Fantasy Alphas. It's a live Q&A to get all your last-minute lineup questions answered. And follow us on Twitter at Fantasy Alphas for all your latest fantasy football updates and insights, and subscribe to the YouTube page right here below, and download the Fantasy Alpha app. It's free in the App Store and on Google Play. I'll see you all on Sunday.